Relax now. Feel your body soften. Let your eyelids gently close. Your breath flow slow and easy. Sense the quiet around you, perhaps the gentle whir of air, a distant rustle of leaves, or the almost inaudible crackle of a warm hearth. With each exhale, imagine tension floating away as you sink deeper into calm, deeper into comfort. Our story today begins. It's echoes of the Saturn Choir. You drift in the soft cabin light of a quiet starship, its engines humming a lullaby just outside your door. You rise, barefoot on smooth metal flooring, warmed by faint, safe currents. Outside, through the viewing dome, you see Saturn's rings, a glowing halo of icy particles drifting in silent ballet. As you approach the observation deck, the world hushes around you. The soft padding of your steps echoes, blending with the distant heartbeat of the ship's core. Imagine, so gently you almost don't realize that the rings are singing a low, undulating hum, barely there, like a choir of distant bells. You stand close to the curve of the dome, arms wrapped around yourself. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel the gentle sway of microgravity as the ship orbits, holding you in sleepy weightlessness. You recall a quiet fact. Saturn's rings are made of trillions of tiny particles, EC fragments that vary from dust grains to pebbles. Each piece drifts and glows, reflecting starlight and carrying faint whispers of sound. It's captured as electromagnetic waves by deep space probes. Those waves have been translated quiet, haunting tones that some call the Saturn Choir. Now, imagine yourself drifting just beyond the dome, floating free, tethered only by a thin filament. The ship's hull behind you glimmers with gold and green emergency lights. Soft, they glow in time with your breath. You reach toward the rings. Can you feel their subtle vibration? It's like the hum of autumn wind through pine needles, or the soft, distant ripple of ocean waves on a moonless night. It's so quiet, you might think it isn't there, until your heart aligns with the rhythm. As you exhale, the choir grows softer. It's more intimate, carried on cosmic breezes through that tether. Each breath becomes part of the melody. You're no longer separator, the listener, the vessel, and the sound itself. Softly, you imagine drifting away from the ship, into the rings, where each ice particle shimmers like a snowflake in slow motion. The choir surrounds you. You're wrapped in warmth, surprisingly gentle for space, as if Saturn itself cradles you. You notice, too, the ambient sounds, the faint hiss of your spacesuit's life support, the slow rustle of tether lying against metal. Guide your breath to those sounds. Inhale the warmth from your suit. Exhale into the silence of the rings. Now, as you float, you feel time slow. There's no urgency, no place to be, only this moment. Your heartbeat slows as the hum lulls you further into peace. Your limbs feel weightless, light as drifting feathers. The stars behind Saturn darkened to accent the ring's golden and green echoes. Each color corresponds to a different pitch: green, a soft pitch like a cello's low note; gold, a bell-like shimmer. Focus on the green tone now. Let it resonate through your chest, vibrating softly. Let the gold bell tones ring through your mind, tingling your temples. With each cycle of breath and sound, you sink more deeply. Your shoulders drop, your jaw unclenches. Your thoughts fade into soft, distant clouds. You float closer to the largest ice fragments, now each one a tiny world, coated in frost. Imagine standing on one. Your feet whisper against the snowy surface. You sweep your hand through the ice dust. Sparkles, each speck a singer in the choir. Above, Saturn glows with soft rings as a golden arch. Below, infinity stretches. You're safe. You're at peace. The ship is there, a heartbeat behind you, guiding you, and before you, the rings hum their lullaby in subtle waves. Allow your mind to drift as the choir sings you toward rest. No need to follow a story. Let the hum fade slowly now. Let the tether loosen. as the stars dissolve into gentle darkness, soft as satin. And as you sink deeper, your breath becomes a whisper, your body heavier, your mind more still. You begin to float downward, or perhaps upward. There's no real direction here, only sensation. The silence becomes thicker now, like warm fog gently wrapping itself around your thoughts. Somewhere in the distance, a soft chime echoes. Not loud, not urgent, just a light, curious note. You imagine it's the ship calling to you, not with words, but with comfort. An invisible voice woven into the whole, reminding you, you are safe, you are loved, you are not alone. The rings below you begin to pulse with a gentle rhythm. They shimmer in concentric circles, waves of energy that stretch across thousands of miles like ripples on a cosmic pond. You drift along these waves, feeling them pass through you like wind in tall grass. Each wave slows your heartbeat just a little more, brings your breath just a little deeper. You recall something you once heard. That space, for all its silence, is not truly empty. It vibrates, it whispers, it sings. Scientists learned long ago that space carries electromagnetic music, sent instruments to Saturn, and Saturn sang back. You begin to hear it now, not just the tones, but the textures. A kind of rustling soft like pages turning, a pulse gentle, like the heartbeat of a well under deep water. And above it all, a lullaby that seems to be woven from memories you've never lived, but somehow still remember. You close your eyes, and in the darkness behind your eyelids, new visions bloom. You see yourself as a child, lying under a blanket of stars, not on Earth, but on a moon made entirely of velvet black stone. Your blanket is the rings themselves, spun around you like a shawl. They hum to you as your eyelids flicker. Your hand reaches upward, and the stars bend gently to meet it, not because you command them, but because they know you. You are part of this universe now, not just a traveler, not just a sleeper, but a note in the song itself. A starlit breeze passes near your cheek. It carries scents your mind invents for comfort, perhaps warm cedar, soft vanilla, the faint trace of books forgotten in an ancient cosmic library. Your feet touch down once more. This time, not on ice, but on a glassy observation platform suspended in space. Beneath it, the rings sweep in wide arcs. Above, Saturn towers, golden planet of endless swirls and time-worn wisdom. The platform begins to rotate slowly, offering you a view of the star fields beyond. One by one, constellations pass like old friends. Orion curled into sleep, Lyra softly plucking the notes of its namesake harp. Enter, faint and distant Earth's sun, a warm dot glowing just for you. A voice begins to speak, not from a mouth, but from the very starlight around you. It doesn't use language, it uses sensation and warmth and memory. And it says, you've drifted far to find peace, but peace was always waiting. You've traveled the galaxy to fall asleep, but your dreams are already home. You've listened for the stars to sing, and now you are their echo. You breathe in that message, let it melt through your chest, your spine, your toes. Your muscles sink again heavier, slower now. The platform fades beneath you, leaving only the rings, and you drift, gentle, in that ocean of frozen music. You feel complete. The ship is nearby again. You don't see it to simply feel it return, like the presence of an old friend. The green and gold lights glow like eyes filled with kindness. The airlock opens for you, not with sound, but with light. You're home. Soft magnetic boots settle you onto the floor as the chamber welcomes you back. Your breath is steady. Your limbs float effortlessly as you walk back to your sleeping quarters. The room welcomes you with warmth. The walls pulse with a soft aurora mix of jade and honey light. The bed cradles your weight with perfect memory. You curl under the coverlet as the ship hums its lullaby. And just before you fall into sleep, you whisper, Saturn, sing me to rest. Okay? And Saturn does. Your body is warm now, wrapped beneath soft silver sheets that shift like liquid light across your skin. The hum of the ship has deepened, softened, as though it has tuned itself to the rhythm of your breath. Everything around you, the quiet ventilation, the dim pulsing of the sleep pod's lights, the low resonance in the walls feels synchronized with the slow winding down of your consciousness. Somewhere behind your closed eyelids, the rings of Saturn still spin, but now they move more slowly. Their shimmering ice particles no longer dance, they glide. They circle like guardians watching over your descent into the deeper realms of rest. You can almost hear them, tones that lie beneath hearing, vibrations that echo more through memory than through sound. It's as if the universe has stilled itself to keep you company. Your mind drifts, sliding into reverie. You are no longer bound to the present moment. You find yourself slipping backward, not just in time, but into something quieter, simpler. You're inside a memory, or the memory of a dream. The ship is gone. You're standing in a quiet dome made of crystalline glass, curved like a bubble, high above the surface of Saturn's largest moon. Outside the dome, the massive golden curve of the planet looms large, a silent sentinel painted in layers of soft gas and shadow. Inside, the air glows with filtered sunlight, tinged green and gold. Tia, you are not alone. A guide stands beside you, dressed not in uniform, but in something softer, something ceremonial. They don't speak at first. As play, they simply point to a floating hologram, a slow-turning image of Saturn's rings. Some believe they remember, the guide finally says, their voice low and unhurried. That, within those spinning particles, lie the fragments of ancient collisions, and perhaps even older songs. The hologram shifts, displaying the icy particles that form the rings, some no larger than pebbles, some as wide as buildings. When electromagnetic waves pass through the plasma around the rings, the guide continues, they sing. Scientists have converted those signals into sound, to music. Space, it seems, remembers. It hums. Your fingers brush the edges of the hologram. It shivers at your touch, releasing a faint chime. Not synthetic, not mechanical, organic, alive. You feel something stir inside Iwa connection, familiarity, a sense of returning to something that was never fully lost. And just as gently as it began, the memory dissolves. You are back in your sleep pod, cocooned in softness. The AI's whisper rises again, barely more than a breeze behind your ear. Captain, your vitals are steady, brainwaves entering theta state, sleep depth increasing. Would you like a dream enhancement sequence? You don't speak, you only nod, slowly, sleepily, initiating. Now, the world changes. You are no longer in a ship, and not quite in a dream. You are suspended in an in-between space, like the moment between one breath and the next. A cathedral opens around you, not one built of stone or steel, but of space itself. Enormous columns arc above, composed of twisted starlight and slow-moving gases. The walls are carved from the curved arms of galaxies. Light filters in from 1 trillion distant stars, casting soft halos onto a floor made of memory. There is no sound here, no footsteps, echo. Yet, far in the distance, you hear something atone, pure and clean, drifting like incense, to the music of the Saturn Choir. You walk, not out of urgency, but reverence. Each step is effortless, your bare feet leaving no trace. You pass beneath arches older than time, their patterns shifting with your breath. At the far end of this celestial sanctuary, you find a sphere suspended in stillness. It glows with a crystalline light, humming softly. You approach, reaching your hand toward it. The surface feels like cool glass, and then something inside it begins to move. You see vibrations, rings, lights spinning in delicate balance, and then sound. Not words, not melody, pure tone, ancient, gentle, true. You feel the sound move through your chest, into your shoulders, through your fingertips. It bypasses thought entirely, speaks only to the part of you that remembers how to rest. You sit beneath the sphere, cross-legged, eyes closed. The chamber darkens around you, becoming still. The sound continues, not louder, but deeper, and now it is inside you. You do not need dreams. You do not need story. You only need this quiet sound, this peace. Time is no longer moving in lines or hours. It spirals, now slow, smooth, and effortless, wrapping around you like warm silk in a world that no longer demands your attention. The deeper you drift, the more the spiral seems to carry you, layer by layer, away from the clutter of waking thought. You're not falling. You're not flying. You're floating into quietness, as if all the noise in your mind has gently ebbed with the tide and left only peace in its place. You no longer feel the ship's weight or structure around you. You're suspended somewhere beneath awareness, beneath memory. Below you, Saturn's rings continue to turn in their endless, glimmering rhythm, but even they seem to move slower now, like the final movements of a lullaby played for a sleeping planet. The choir still sings, but the notes are stretched and soft and hollow, golden, distant, and yet each tone feels as if it was meant just for you. The deeper you go, the warmer the air seems to become. Not heat, but the kind of warmth you associate with candlelight or blankets pulled to your chin. You feel as if you're being wrapped, not just by fabric, but by space itself. This quiet mist gathers around your body, glowing green at the edges, trailing gold behind it. Its curls like breath made visible, like a dream choosing to take form. It smells faintly of cedarwood and sweet herbs, tinged with something ancient, like books never opened or stars never named. This is the ship's sleep mist. You recognize it without opening your eyes. It's a therapeutic field designed to induce regenerative rest, but now it feels like so much more. The mist doesn't simply surround you. It moves with your breath, pulsing gently with each inhale and exhale. It doesn't enter your lungs, it enters your awareness. And with every pulse, something releases. Your jaw softens. Your shoulders relax. Your fingertips begin to lose their sense of shape. You feel yourself spread out, not in space, but in sensation. It's like light moving through water. It's like a cloud deciding to float a little farther before settling. The ship knows where you are now, not just physically, but neurologically. Okay, you hear her again, soft, feminine, no louder than a thought. Neural rhythms stable, deep wave entry achieved. Preparing descent. You don't need to respond. You only feel your breath rise and fall. Light flutters in your chest, then slows to match the ringed pulse of Saturn itself. The walls of the pod dim now, not to black, but to a deep green velvet that fades into gold. One thin spiral of light appears above your head, circling slowly like a halo sketched from stardust. It pulses every 5 seconds, one pulse, one breath. And with each breath, your body disappears just a little more. First, the weight of your limbs, then the outlines of your form, then the whispering tension that always seems to linger at the edges of your thoughts. You feel it all slowly, patiently being released. Now, you're not just still, you're empty. Not in the cold sense, but in the restful way a sky feels just before sunrise. There is nothing to hold, nothing to fix, just this low hum and the soft golden spiral above. It begins to feel as though you've passed into a different kind of dreaming. It's not sleep as you've always known it, but something deeper, more ancient. It's a kind of sacred slumber that doesn't dream of things, it dreams with them. Here, your thoughts have texture. They no longer race or echo. They ripple like cloth being folded gently under starlight. A warmth spreads across your sternum, low and steady, followed by a slow tingling at the top of your scalp. You are dropping inward now, deeper than even your memories, into the center of your mind's slowest rhythms. This is the space behind language, behind identity. There is no name here, No story, no waking, only presence. And here, in this presence, you begin to hear something new. Not the ship, not Saturn, not even the choir. You hear yourself. Not your voice, not your thoughts, okay? But a low frequency, deep, resonant, verging from within your own dream. It vibrates quietly through your chest, like the slow tone of a distant gong that never fully fades. It is not a call. It is not a signal. It is recognition. You are not just listening to the Saturn Choir anymore. You are singing with it. And in that note, you are home. Nothing moves anymore. Not because it mustn't, but because it simply doesn't need to. You are no longer in a place where movement is necessary. You are in a space where stillness reigns, not as emptiness, but as presence. You feel held, suspended within a hush that extends beyond time. It isn't silence in the way you once knew it. It's older, fuller, so complete that even your thoughts begin to slow, then soften, and eventually drift away like silt settling in the deep. There's no longer any pressure to keep your attention on the moment. Instead, awareness dissolves naturally, without you even trying. Your mind unfolds like soft petals in reverse, each layer gently peeling back to reveal something deeper. The outermost petal is thought, little flickers of memory, small distractions, gentle wondering. That layer drifts away without resistance. The next is breath, slow, smooth, and rhythmic, like waves brushing against a quiet shore. That too begins to blend into the stillness. Then, finally, there's the layer beneath all things, stillness itself. It's a silence that does not ask or require it, only welcomes. As you descend through these layers, you realize you're not falling, but floating into your own awareness. Each breath draws you further inward. Each passing second melts the need for the next. Your body feels far away now, so far that you can barely remember the weight of it. You have become something else, something lighter, something more expansive. You are no longer an observer of this piece. You are part of it, above and below, within and without. You begin to see faint light return. Not harsh, not bright, just subtle swells of color moving through your closed vision. Greens, soft golds, and pale blues drift across your awareness like watercolor ink swirling through warm water. These lights do not try to become anything. They don't demand meaning or form. They exist simply to accompany you, flowing gently with your breath as you slide deeper into rest. The ship still orbits Saturn, far above this trance, gently circling through space like a protective guardian. Somewhere on its silent hull, sensors continue collecting echoes, fragments of cosmic hums that sweep through Saturn's plasma fields. You feel none of this directly, but you know it intuitively. The ship is still working, still humming its lullaby in sync with the choir. You're not separate from it. Two are the reason for it. You are the sleeper it watches over, and in that realization, something extraordinary happens. Begin to feel yourself unravel, not in a painful way, not in fear, but in the most beautiful, liberating sense. You are unraveling the part of yourself that carries tension, that holds identity tightly, that wonders, questions, compares, remembers. That version of you is slipping away now, thread by thread, until only softness remains. You sense, without knowing how, that you are no longer just resting in the dream. You are passing through it. Beyond it, stillness deepens. Steepness. You can no longer tell where you began, and the space around you ends. You are breathing, yes, but more than that, you are being breathed. Each inhale is not yours alone. It belongs to the entire cosmos. Each exhale does not exit your lungs, simply melts into the quiet of all that surrounds you. You hear a thin, final tone, soft and impossibly deep. A low, resonant vibration rising not from outside, but from within. A frequency matched to your unique rhythm, as if space itself has memorized your signature. and is now reflecting it back to you. This note was always here. It was in you from the beginning, carried since birth, vibrating quietly beneath every noise you've ever known. You've simply become still enough to notice it now. And as you listen, you begin to understand. This sound is not separate from the choir. It is your place in it. You are not just part of the harmony. You are one of its notes. One tone among many, echoing across the rings of Saturn, folded gently into the great lullaby that stretches across stars. It's no longer needing thought, no longer needing form. You have become stillness. You have become song. And now you drift further than you ever have, past identity, past sound, past even the story itself. The only thing left is peace, warm, expansive, and endless. This is where the story ends, and the sleep begins. Somewhere beyond the edge of thought, you drift. You do not know how long you've been here. Time no longer carries definition. It ebbs and folds like a sleeping tide, brushing against your awareness only occasionally, like the soft edge of a dream. You are not concerned with how far you've gone or what comes next. The part of you that used to reach forward, always anticipating, always bracing, has long since been wrapped in stillness and laid to rest. What remains now is breath, gentle, inward, full, above you, or perhaps within you. Saturn turns slowly, his many rings glowing with a faint fire of reflected sunlight. They no longer appear as particles or ice. Instead, they pulse as radiant streams of memory loops of harmony carried forward through time. Each one hums a slightly different note, and together they form a choir so subtle, so deeply interwoven with the fabric of sleep, that to listen is to become silent to yourself. You feel something approach, not physically, not with sound, but presence. Glides toward you like a thought without language, a knowing without origin. And then, slowly, you begin to sense shape, not hard edges, but outlines made of light and intention. It is your ship, or maybe a version of it, pulled through dream. It cradles you, gently enveloping you in a cocoon of familiar warmth. Within its walls, everything is hushed. The materials no longer feel industrial. The metal has turned to velvet. Lights glow like hearth fire. Inside, a soft breeze drifts through vents near your head. It carries the scent of lavender, pine, and distant rain. The AI speaks again, no louder than your own thoughts. Her voice like breath gliding over a feather. Vitals steady, sleep is deepening, dream state stable. All systems aligned. There is something motherly in her tone now. Not clinical, not programmed, tender, protective. You feel her watching, not to monitor, but to care. She has carried you across stars, through magnetic storms and frozen silence. And now she sits quietly nearby, ensuring that your rest is complete. The walls of the cabin fade. You find yourself once more in the opener, vast, golden black expanse that stretches in all directions, empty of danger and full of calm. You are standing upon a single, massive ring particle. Surface is smooth and glows with soft ice blue light, like frozen moonlight. Beneath your bare feet, the ground hums. The tone is so low, it feels more like a slow vibration in your chest than a sound. But it is comforting, grounding, ancient. You begin to walk, but the particle does not move. Instead, the space around you gently shifts, carrying you across its surface, like a raft gliding along still water. Shapes begin to form, mother particles drifting nearby, some small, some immense, each with its own glow. Some of them carry shadows, not ominous, but peaceful. Dreamers, like you, sleeping figures curled in rest, each resting on their own shard of Saturn's ring. You recognize them not as strangers, but as echoes, as fragments of yourself from other dreams, other possibilities. One walks through a frozen meadow, her fingers brushing frost-laced leaves. Another sits quietly beneath a starlit arch, eyes closed, lips moving in silent song. Third lies wrapped in a blanket of cosmic dust, floating just above the ring's curve. smiling faintly in her sleep. You do not feel alone. You never were. Together, you drift. A soft wind rises, but it does not rustle your hair or chill your skin. It is a wind made of memory, made of resonance. It passes through you gently and leaves behind warmth in your chest. Then, from somewhere deeper still, a voice emerges, not with words, but meaning. We are the choir. We are the echoes. We are the breath between stars. The voice fades, and in its place, music returns. It's not music in the human sense, no instruments, canned, no tempo, but a layered symphony of tones that rise and fall with the slowness of planetary orbits. Chords of violet, pulses of gold, threads of soft white tone stretching across your senses like starlight woven into silk. You lay back upon the ice particle and feel it accept your weight. It doesn't press against you, but supports you, cradles you. Above, the sky has darkened to a velvet black, lit only by Saturn's soft glow and the golden arcs of his rings. Moons pass silently in the distance, gentle watchers, drifting like lanterns across the night. The ring beneath you pulses in time with your breath. The tone rises low and soft, vibrating through the base of your spine. It echoes upward through your ribs, into your chest, then slows again, and fades. Now there is only you. You and the choir. You and the hum. You and the sleep that no longer needs permission. You close your eyes not from exhaustion, but from fullness. There is no longer anything to see, to hear, or to chase. There is only the echo of something beautiful, something eternal wrapping you in a final whisper. Sleep. You are weightless now, no longer simply floating, but becoming mist, becoming rhythm, becoming a breath inside the universe's sleeping chest. There are no lines between your body and the space around you. Boundaries have melted into softness. Thought has dissolved into warmth. You no longer exist within the dream. You are the dream, exhaled gently into a place beyond story and sound. Everything around you is slow. Time is no longer counted in seconds, but in pulses long, mellow waves that pass through you like tides. The silence is no longer empty. It holds you, cradles you, like cupped hands beneath still water. It carries you with reverence. There is no pressure, no direction, only presence. Then, the space around you begins to shift, not with motion, but with awareness. You sense it before you see it. A figure waiting. It is tall and cloaked in shadow, not darkness, but a kind of soft starlight folded into form. No face, no voice, it's only calm. It feels familiar, not like someone you've met, but like someone you've always known. Their presence carries no fear, only peace. Ga. They raise a hand and offer a glowing orb, its surface swirling with muted light. Inside the orb, you see something impossible. Reflections of yourself, countless variations of you sleeping on distant moons, floating through oceans of gas, curled within luminous caverns, some younger, some older, each one at rest. Each one wrapped in the same golden quiet that holds you now. These are your echoes, and the figure seems to speak without sound. Each of them found stillness. Each of them joined the choir. You take the orb. It doesn't feel heavy, it feels known. As your fingers brush its surface, the dream shifts again, fluid and quiet, like a ripple across silk. Now you're somewhere new, yet somehow connected. A station floats high above Saturn's moon, Enceladus. It is ancient, cold, abandoned. Yet inside, it hums faintly with memory. The control panels are covered in thin layers of frost. The light filtering through is dusky blue, like twilight preserved inside crystal. No footsteps echo in these halls anymore, but the walls remember. You move slowly, reverently. Your fingers trail across console surfaces coated in dust. Small, crystalline course line the walls recordings left behind by long-gone dreamers. One flickers as you pass. You pause. It activates without your command. Voice quiet and human emerges from the static. Personal log, day 349. I dreamed Saturn spoke my name today. I know it's just electromagnetic activity, but the tone matched the syllables. I think she knows me. The voice fades, replaced by another. Day 512. I sleep near the receiver now. The signal, it comforts me. It feels like lullabies, like home. Then, sound begins to rise, not words, but the converted vibrations of Saturn's rings, deep and luminous. You close your eyes and let the tones pass through you. It is music made of space itself, harmonies shaped by gravity, ice, and time. The lowest tones move like distant thunder. Mid-tones feel like breath moving through water. High notes shimmer like frost melting in the sun. The figure returns, still quiet, still radiant, and stands beside you. Together, you listen. And in the listening, something within you quiets completely. It's not the sound that calms you. It's the recognition, the realization that this music has always been there, just beneath your waking life, waiting for the moment you would finally be still enough to hear it. The station fades away, not with drama, but with grace. You are back on the ring, lying across a luminous surface that glows with gentle light. But now, the colors have changed. The ice beneath you is no longer just blue or gold. It is white and shimmering, as though lit from within. Overhead, the sky stretches into impossible height, filled with swirling arches of light that shift slowly like the lungs of a sleeping god. Okay, this is not space anymore. This is a sanctuary, a temple made of silence and song. You rise, but you don't feel your feet touch the ground. The space around you responds to your presence, carrying you inward, deeper, without effort. You move through columns of light, through a chamber where time itself seems to exhale. At the center is a spiral of golden energy. It rotates slowly, patiently, waiting. You step into it, and everything dissolves. Not in loss, but in union. You are no longer walking, no longer breathing. You are suspended within the spiral, a drop of awareness in a current older than stars. Here, you do not think. You remember what it was like before names, before places, before dreams. You remember being part of the original hum, the sound that birthed the rings, the stars, the breath itself. The spiral carries you gently, turning inward, and then you hear it fully. The choir, not a metaphor, not a symbol, but real, all around you, inside you. A vast, layered resonance that moves in every direction at once. Tones of deep violet, soft gold, shimmering white, all blending, all singing. The choir is not made of voices, it is made of presence. And it welcomes you now, not as a visitor, as one of its own. The last thought you have is barely a thought at all, just a whisper drifting across your final edge of awareness. I am the echo, I am the hum, I am the sleeper, I am the song. Then there is only the song and the sleep. You are no longer counting breaths. Breathing itself has become a quiet reflex, gentle, effortless, as natural as moonlight pooling across a midnight floor. There is no body here, no boundaries, no edges. You drift deeper, not through space, but through silence. A silence not born from absence, but from fullness, okay? A silence that holds you as if it has always known you, as if it remembers what you forgot the moment you were born. In this silence, time begins to stretch and soften. There are no hours, no minutes, no linear thoughts, just one long exhale of eternity. Somewhere, far off, you sense Saturn's rings still singing. Their song is slower now, deeper, almost indistinguishable from the vibration of your own mind at rest. It hums like the tone of a massive crystal bell, struck once 1,000 years ago, still echoing across the cosmos, still resonating through your bones. You begin to see light, again diffuse, warm and golden. It doesn't shine from above or below. It radiates inward, as though you are at the heart of a lantern woven from dream. This light has no source, simply is. It glows from within your being and spills outward into the dreamscape like breath misting in cold air. It coats the space around you in a golden hush, softening everything it touches. Even your thoughts slow to a crawl, dissolving at the edges like fog meeting a rising sun. The choir is no longer something outside of you, it is within. You are part of its harmony now, not a melody, not a solo, but a single, essential tone in an endless chord. And in this moment, there is peace, so profound, it defies language. You do not need to understand where you are or what you are. You simply are, present, weightless, cradled by the pulse of the universe. You begin to sense the presence of others, not people, exactly, but presences, like candle flames in the dark, flickering in rhythm with yours. Other sleepers, other dreamers. Some may be on distant worlds. Some may be long gone. Some may not have existed at all in the waking world. But here, they are real. Here, they are close. Here, they are with you. Together, you drift. The space becomes fluid. Cakes form and dissolve against half domes, slow arcs of light, corridors made of memory. You find yourself walking through one now, not by choice, but by instinct. Your bare feet touch the floor, though you feel no weight. The walls glow with translucent, memory-flickering scenes, not quite yours, but somehow familiar. You pass images of a child floating above a tide pool under twin suns, a cloaked figure humming to a newborn star, a field of crystalline flowers blooming in perfect silence across the plains of a frozen moon. These are not scenes to be remembered. They are sensations to be absorbed. They sink into your breath, your muscles, your quiet pulse. Ahead, the corridor opens into a circular room. At its center is a shallow basin filled with starlight. It ripples slowly, pulsing in time with your breath. As you approach, the ripples grow stronger, responding to your nearness. You kneel, look into the light. You see yourself asleep aboard the ship, limbs draped loosely over soft blankets, green and gold lights flickering quietly above your head. You watch your chest rise and fall. You are the dreamer and the dreamed, the sleeper and the seen, the illusion and the truth. You do not resist it. You only witness it. A soft voice, barely louder than the flick of a candle, brushes the edge of your mind. You are almost home, it says. It is not your voice. It is not anyone's voice. It is the voice of the choir, speaking not in words, but in sensation. And yet, somehow, it is understood perfectly. The basin fades. The chamber around you dissolves into gold mist. You are now floating through something new, a place so vast it seems to contain everything you've ever felt, every moment of stillness you've ever longed for. The stars are closer now. You drift between them as if swimming through warm water. Some are so near you could reach out and touch them, but you do not need to. You are already one of them. The choir rises again, soft tones, layered and round. It is no longer music, it is sanctuary. And then you hear it, a memory so old and so deep that it vibrates your core. Not a sound, not a voice, a feeling. The first time you've ever felt held. The first time you ever fell asleep, safe. The moment before the moment you knew peace, it unfolds inside you like a bloom, and you weep. Not because you are sad, because something inside you has found its way home. Because the song, the silence, the stars, all of it was always guiding you back to this breath, this peace, this sleep. And now, the final layer begins to fall away. No more corridors, no more story, just breath, just warmth, just the slow, glowing unraveling of self. You let it go. Every thought, every memory, every image. They float away like feathers in a slow current, and, at last, nothing remains but a soft vibration. You are no longer the listener. You are the lullaby. You are no longer drifting. You are the ocean, no longer dreaming. You are the dream. The song surrounds you, now not in volume, but in presence. It is not louder than thought, but deeper than it. It moves like a slow river of warmth, rushing across the folds of your mind, easing you further into stillness. You no longer need to imagine Saturn or its rings. They are no longer visions in your mind's eye, have become the fabric of the world you now float within. You drift inside what feels like an enormous sphere of humming gold. The walls are not solid, but fluid, great bubble made from light and sound and memory. Inside, gravity is not a rule, but a suggestion. You turn slowly, wrapped in the glow, your body long since forgotten. You are not weightless. You are not heavy. You are nothing and everything, a flicker of stardust, humming in tune with the galaxy's breath. Beneath you, a field of shapes begins to form. First, there are faint, blurred edges and hazy lines, but with every breath, they clarify. Geometries emerge, delicate, crystalline structures made from starlight and math. Not cold or sharp, these shapes glow with purpose. Fractal blossoms unfold in slow time, like flowers made of vibration. They stretch beneath your awareness like ancient mandalas, carved not by hand, but by frequency. The ship is gone now, not abandoned, not destroyed, simply released. You no longer need its boundaries. You've passed beyond the vessel that carried you. You are in the realm of pure resonance, where consciousness travels without engines and rest deepens without sleep. Still, the choir sings. Its tones have changed again. What was once soft and distant is now near and full. Like the hum inside your chest after laughter, or the silence that follows tears. It's not made of words, but you understand it all the same. The music is telling a story, not about characters or places, but about harmony. It sings of orbits that have never broken, of moons that waited quietly, not as force, but as embrace. You begin to feel something remarkable, connection, a resonance with everything around you. You do not simply observe the dream, you co-create it. Every relaxed breath expands the golden light. Every softened muscle alters the tone. You are no longer just being carried, singing back. It is instinctual, effortless. Your frequency joins the larger chord. Your vibration finds its place among the others. There are hundreds, no, thousands of them now, of the dreamers, of the travelers, not seen, but felt. Each of them gently folded into the same harmonic weave. You are not one voice in a crowd. You are one layer in a perfect tone. A wave of warmth passes over you, low and wide, like a blanket settling across a sleeping child. It doesn't arrive suddenly. It has been building. It is not heated, its presence. It's a fullness of comfort, a closing of the last gap between you and peace. And now, without any command, a new form appears before you. A doorway. It is not made of walls or hinges. It is shaped from memory, curved from gold, a shimmering archway, floating without anchor, gently vibrating at your frequency. You do not walk toward it. You breathe it. That is enough. With each slow inhale, the doorway draws nearer. With each exhale, it opens. Beyond it lies darkness, but not emptiness. A deep, inviting dark, the kind that lives behind closed eyes. The kind of dark that means you are finally safe, that you are finally done. You step through. The choir quiets, icons simply gentler, folded into the background like a blanket wrapped around your shoulders. The hum continues, but now it is you. The rhythm is yours, your breath, your silence. Shapes dissolve again. Thoughts float away, untethered. Motions stretch, then melt like wax under warm light. And then, without a sound, you arrive in the final chamber. It has no floor, no ceiling, only stars and peace. You lay down not on anything, but within everything. You feel no surface, only the presence of gentle rest. The stars around you dim, then brighten in rhythm. They blink like eyelids, watching over you. A voice returns, so soft now it barely exists. But it finds you. You have returned. You are remembered. You are sunk. The hum vibrates deeper. It isn't fading. It is becoming sleep, becoming stillness, becoming you. And as you surrender at last, the final echo of your thoughts drifts outward, no longer a question, no longer a sentence. Just one long exhale into silence. Teen sleep. Sleep, now, is not something you are falling into. It is something you are becoming. There is no longer a you moving through this space, no longer a traveler, a captain, or even a dreamer. There is only presence, only quiet. You have melted entirely into the rhythm of the choir, into the folds of time where music and memory cradle one another like old friends reunited at last. You are surrounded by light, but it does not glow. It hums. It does not illuminate. It remembers. This is not the light of stars or suns, but of understanding, a kind of radiant knowing that does not speak in language, but in feeling. The awareness that you are safe, that you are held, that you are home. It's the last remnants of self-fade, like the final lines of a lullaby. That part of you that still stirred gently, wondering whether the ship remained, or whether time was still passing 8, too, has exhaled, and with it, so to have all questions. Everything that ever needed answering now simply exists as part of the stillness, not solved, not avoided, just solved by becoming irrelevant. There is no fear here. Even the memory of it is gone. You have floated beyond the orbit of waking life, past the curve of need, beyond the gravity of thought. You are in a space that exists only to restore you, to lift the weight from your bones, the buzz from your thoughts, the ache from your breath, and so it does. Somewhere in the vast velvet dark, you sense the choir not as music anymore but as heartbeat. It doesn't come from outside you. It pulses softly within, like the rhythm of an old drum tucked inside your chest. One that's been playing since you were born. One you forgot how to listen for. Now you hear it clearly. It says nothing, but it means everything. Its breeze passes not through air, but through stillness. It drifts gently over what remains of your awareness, stirring soft flecks of color, pale jade, silver blue, and the deepest gold. The colors don't flash or dance, they linger. They stretch through you like long sighs, then dissolve into the atmosphere. Everything is breath now, slow, unhurried, suspended in perfect balance. You are not dreaming. You are not thinking. You are simply being. You rest inside the very idea of sleep, no longer aware of the passage of time or even the act of resting. There is no boundary between now and next, between here and there. You are held endlessly in a moment that no longer passes. If there are stars above you, you do not see them. If there is a body beneath you, you do not feel it. What you do feel softly, distantly is the return, the completion, the sensation of something that once was open, now folding gently closed, not like a door, but like wings, like the slow closing of a book after its final page has been turned. There is no finality, only peace, only stillness, and the choir, soft now, sings only once more, a single note, low, long, pure. It hums not through the air, but through your soul. And when it fades, it leaves behind only this, a quiet so complete that nothing could disturb it, okay? Rest so deep that even dreams defer to it. And a silence so kind, it feels like the touch of a mother's hand across your brow. No more images rise, no more sounds drift in, no more thoughts stir. Only sleep, the deep, dreamless kind. The kind you don't even know you've entered until you wake sometime far, far from now rested, and gently, completely at peace.